Excellent. Well, I'll say a really big hello to everybody whilst Sir Michael's getting his slides together or notes together. So really, really great that so many of you can join this annual webinar where we'll be looking at the wider determinants of health, the health determinants research collaboration that connects directly with that, the Marmot City approach within Coventry, the type of research that we're actually working on or working towards, and a really big welcome to Sir, I never know which way round to say this, but Professor Sir Michael Marmot. So a really big welcome to you, and thank you so much for joining us. So is it okay if I hand over to you now?
Yes, it is indeed. I apologize, as I said, for my last minute, but I got back on a delayed flight from Italy last evening, where, interestingly enough, I was talking about Coventry because the Italian city of Rimini wanted to explore with me that Rimini should be the first Italian Marmot city. Mm-hmm. And they asked, what does that mean? So I talked quite a bit about Coventry and what Coventry has done. So it might be, you didn't know this, but you might have a sister in Rimini. And then, of course, I talked to people in Bologna, and it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of rivalry. And which should be the first Italian Marmot city, Bologna or Rimini?
Oh, great, yeah.
And they are both in the region of Emilia-Romagna, Bologna in Emilio, Rimini in Romagna. So a little bit of competition between them. But where we left it yesterday, before my delayed flight back to London, where we left it is we might collaborate with the two of them. But part of what I had to say to them was the Coventry experience. So you didn't ever think when Coventry became a Marmot city that people in Bologna and Rimini would be talking about Coventry.
No,
but there you are.
Fantastic. We'll be expecting some calls and some visits then from them.
Well, I think quite a few people have beat a path to Coventry's door.
Yeah.
And you asked me to talk about the national picture. The national picture, I think we are poised. The national picture has been adverse, as you're all aware. Between 2009-10 and 2023, life expectancy did not improve. 14-year period. Unprecedented. The idea that in peacetime, life expectancy would not improve in a 14-year period really is unprecedented. And it's highly likely, as our numerous analyses have shown, that it was related to government policy. Austerity, disinvestment in public services. As you will know well, the central government support to local government went down by 59%. Let me say that again. The central government support to local government went down by 59%. And in a report we published before the summer, we plotted life expectancy of local authorities in 2010 and the subsequent reduction in local government spending power. And the shorter the life expectancy in 2010-12, the steeper the reduction in local government spending power over the next 10 years. The greater the need for spending because of ill health, the bigger the reduction. So that's the national context. Within that, the fact that Coventry was the first Marmot city, by early next year, we think we'll have 50 Marmot places in England and Wales. And in Scotland, we kicked off 2 years of work with Public Health Scotland. We said we'd establish 3 Marmot places in Scotland. We've had something like a dozen or 15 places applying to be one of the 3. It's really exciting. And we hope, of course, that finally the central government will come in behind this kind of work. We're all looking for a new government to give some priority to the health and well-being of the population. Well, that would be new. That would be new. And the fact that there's an HDRC, a research collaboration on health determinants, is really important, because it's not enough to be good people with good intentions. We also want to know if what we're doing is making any difference. So the context is we need a lot of work. The excitement from Coventry and other Marmot places is there's a lot going on. And the establishment of the Health Determinants Research Collaboration is to say, let's use all that work that's going on to find out what's really happening and what works to improve health and achieve greater health equity. And I hope that's my lead-in to who had been the Director of Public Health in Coventry, and now the leader of the Coventry HDRC, to tell us actually what is an HDRC.
Thank you so much for setting the context, Sir Michael. Really fantastic. And I hope everyone enjoyed hearing what Sir Michael had to say. So my task then is to talk about the HDRC and what it's all about, and try to contextualize it. So Michael's given us a broad context for it. And I want you to start off, I suppose, by thinking about what comes into your head when you think about health, your own health, or the health of your family, or the health of people around you. What's the first thing you think about? And of course, when a piece of work was done by Frameworks, which was exploring what that very question with people tended to think about the health services. If pushed, they would be thinking about your lifestyles and the choices you make about smoking, drinking, diet, physical activity, etc. But they really didn't get on to thinking about where you're born, the environment in which you live, where you grow, where you're educated, and where your job is, etc. So it's quite interesting that this thinking isn't really, it's not there in lots of professionals' heads as well as the population's heads. So it's a bit of a work to do in terms of thinking, getting people to think about those wider determinants and the massive impact. And we know that's more than 50% on health. So when we talk about the wider determinants, I can remember as a trainee in public health, a trainee consultant, having a little bit of a, kind of a sense of what exactly do I mean when I say that. And it is complicated, and there are lots of examples in the slide now, and there will be various things that fall out from that as well. So we've got, in the left-hand side of that, we've got a list of areas that we're focusing on. And you can see that the Health Foundation, they're still playing with their boxes and thinking about what health determinants might, how best we might communicate health determinants to people. So it's not so much, these are wider determinants, these are social determinants, but what happens in people's heads when we talk about them is really important. So that's a little introduction really into the HDRC and the thinking. And the thinking of, for example, NIHR, so that's the National Institute for Health and Care Research, they were pumping a lot of money into health research. And there was a bit of an exploration about what was going on in research around the wider determinants. And of course, they discovered there wasn't a lot. There wasn't none, but there wasn't a lot. The next question, what's the infrastructure for that? You know, how can research happen in local government? And of course, there wasn't the infrastructure for it. So very much the HDRC is about developing that infrastructure. So we had some funding over 5 years to set up research processes, and we're working with UHCW on that. So that's our local hospitals. And thinking, you know, taking from their experience as to what we need in place in order to have an infrastructure for research. So that's the first thing that we have to do. We have to work with our universities and across our communities and local organisations to develop that infrastructure and make sure everybody's involved. And then, of course, within local government, there not necessarily everywhere, but certainly in most cases, there isn't that kind of thinking about research in the same way as there is in a health system. I mean, that's taken a long time to develop that thinking around research, you know, decades, to take it to where it is now. And there's still lots of work to do in the health systems. But for the local government, we've got a lot of work to do around building that capability and capacity, you know, inquisitive thinking, professional curiosity, whatever you call it, thinking about how we could do things better and what might be out there in the literature about what works. And if it isn't there, how can we ask the question and get a robust answer? And that's really what the research is about. And then the other part that's so important, especially now with the financial issues, is we're kind of not ready, but we're a bit ready to support with that, is understanding when we make decisions about commissioning or decommissioning or whatever decisions we're making in local government, making sure that that is well informed by evidence. And of course, again, if the evidence isn't there to help us make those decisions, we need to think about asking the research questions and doing the research so that we can find out and, of course, share it. Because the idea is not just to find out for Coventry, but to find out for a much broader audience across West Midlands, national and international. So talking, you know, thinking about what Sir Michael was talking about, Italy, you know, there are things to learn in Italy about what we're doing in Coventry, but how that works in the future, you know, we'll wait to see. There's a journey to go on yet. Okay. And this is just, I mean, this, when you receive the slides, you'll be able to see this, but this is a 5-year journey for us in the HDRC, with the eventual goal, of course, is always the people, improving the health of the people, making people more productive actually in our economy. So to have a really strong economy, we need a really healthy population. So we need to be tackling all these issues that are social, wider determinants, whatever we call them. They are impacting on people's health and their productivity and our economy, both locally and nationally. So it's a bit of a journey there, and it just tells you what the kinds of things we've been doing over the first 2 years. So we're just about to go into the 3rd year, and I can say that most of the things that we've written there, which I won't go into, have been achieved. There have been a few delays, but everything is on track, just about. And just to give you a sense of what's happened across the country, and what's happened across the UK actually, because Scotland's there and Wales is there. It was fantastic that Coventry was one of the first 10, so it was really competitive to get this funding, and there were 10 successful and 3 that needed a development year, and that was in October 22 when we actually started. And now we have 30 right across the country. So think about all that Sir Michael alluded to in his talk, and the connections with those 50 Marmot places. So we'll see how the HDRCs will connect across. They will connect across inevitably well in the future. So great. It's great that we will have that capability to do that research on the wider determinants of health. So there's the other council in our patch is Sandwell, and they are in their first year of HDRC. And across the patch of the Midlands, of course, is Leicestershire in their development year. And that's the three of us. So we don't have any more in the Midlands. But you can see they're spread across the country there. Okay, so just a bit of an update from the areas that we have been working in, just to give you an idea of what we've been doing. The areas in the council we've been working as digital inclusion, economic development, employment and skills, and housing. So that's a sense of which areas are we giving more attention to, and most of that is about readiness for being involved. Last time we had this webinar, we did an evaluation, and the things that came through were we really want to do a bit more Q&A. So we've got a bit more Q&A in there in our program today. Maybe something about interactive tasks. We've got that as well, and a bit of a break. And everything that we're talking about over the next 2 hours is about connected with the HDRC. And while some of the research that might be talked about has not been directly influenced and directly progressed to the HDRC, the aim is to give you really good live examples of research that has been happening, that we may or may not be connected into, but they are to bring it alive, the idea of the wider determinants of health and the type of research that's involved there. So that's my kind of connecting points. If you feel like we're not connecting well enough, please feel free to mention in the chat. But I think that's my last slide, and I'm going to hand over. But thank you so much for listening, and please do fill in that the webinar review again, because as I've alluded to, we've heard what has been said last time, and we've taken action on it. So hopefully this webinar will be even better than the last one. So over to you. Is that okay? So Michael, are you happy to chair and introduce?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sue. And I think the next presentation is highly relevant, because the whole thrust of what Coventry has been doing has involved city government, has involved public health, and the HDRC very much wants to relate to the real world of practical action. So the next two speakers, Councillor Cameron Khan, Cabinet Member for Public Health, Sport and Wellbeing, and Alison, I've said incorrectly, Dougal, Director of Public Health and Wellbeing. Please, over to you.
Hi, thank you. I think I'm leading once again, Sir Michael Marmot. It's an honour to be in your company, and it's great to see so many people here today. I think one of the great positives since we've joined your company, I think we've managed to really change the mindset of our processes, of our communities, but especially the people who are going to be making some key choices as a local government or key partners within the city and the region. So this behavioral change that we've been trying to incorporate in so many aspects of our day-to-day work, we've really seen some great understanding, which it took many years to actually make people change their mindset and think it's not just about, doing your daily exercise or eating well. There's other factors. And as this evidence that you fantastically robust evidence that you've repeatedly managed to get us, and the work that you've been doing, which I've had the honor of reading some of your key work, only probably 1% of it in total. You've done so much. But I think that work, we've managed to really, some of the most senior levels of government we managed to have really positive discussions in trying to, change how they want to, use us as a delivery vehicle in a positive manner. And I think if you look back, obviously I'm certain, but the HDRC, this has given us a very, very unique opportunity, and we're sure that, Sir Michael Marmot, without your support, we may not have been as successful. But I think if you really look, what I've been trying to unlock, especially in repeatedly challenging Sue and the whole team, is how can we bring the community forward, because we've got access to so much research over so many years. Our country is absolutely fantastic at collecting data, but I think the issue we've always had is how do we use this data for the benefit of the community in a positive manner? And I think for the first time, through the power of the HDRC, we can see that lessons have been learned. But at the same time, now there's a real focus with a partnership model. And I think this is where I think the institutions have been absolutely fantastic, even if you lean on the university. One of the things I've always said to see, how can we, and I think we're on that journey, I don't think we've reached there yet, but one of my greatest challenges that has been is how can we get genuine community leaders, church groups, mosque groups, temples, all the other religious institutions, which play key roles in a voluntary manner, and carers who are so key to supporting so many in a voluntary capacity. How can we bring some of them voices to the table and take forward some of their concerns and issues to make better policies? So I'm pretty sure that journey has begun, and that's the thing that we really have to unlock. And I think we're over the next few months, I think we'll be in a much better place once we've visited and spoke to more people, because I know there's a lot of conversations having, but the tools that we've got that are really powerful is the universities. Their expertise, and obviously they're from the people as well, their expertise, if we can just link elected members, residents, obviously community groups, etc., and try to bring everybody's viewpoint and the research that we do on one template, which can bring out the answers based on the information provided. I think this will set up research for the whole world in a really positive manner, because we'll be able to see some of the things that we've took for granted. These are not things that are going to be able to support us moving forward. So I think the universities have been a very, very key player, both universities, in allowing us to set up this foundation from the point of view of bringing the research together. So I think as time goes by, I think it'd be really important that when this research, when we get probably a halfway stage, we can present some of the research, which way things are proceeding, and decide, do we still want to have a change of course? And maybe is there other areas that we want to have more focus on and get? I think we've got to get, if we look particularly in jobs and skills, one of the massive focus we've got to see is how do we inspire people into getting better jobs through training and skills? That has to be a massive focus, because we know having a decent job or a well-paid job or something that makes them comfortable and happy, it improves their well-being and their health at the same time. So I think, and it's not just them, more than likely they've got a family, they're part of their community, they're going to have a positive impact on their family and their community. So it's not just one person involved. So I think, limited resources, obviously, this is always, I've always in health, I've always been, despite, I think Sir Michael Marmot's probably been more political than me. And I've always been very careful, because I've been in such a important position with public health. I've always tried to be non-political in the aspect of, I don't want to, put people in a position where they don't feel inspired. So I've continued to try to inspire our communities and say, look, things are very difficult, but, there's clearly a goal and a vision where we can reach and things will get better. Now, with the change of government, clearly our expectations are higher now. What we're expecting is they've seen, and the stark statistics that, Sir Michael Marmot's given us, that's reinforced, I think, the whole HDRC, if there's 2 points that are going to basically decide how we're going to change two things, and I think it was the first 2 points, especially, being 59% down, the funding, how it's affected, local government, how that local spend is not within the community, and in turn, it's basically been no positive growth, in a positive manner for our communities, especially in related to age. So I think this has been painful. But then if we go a little bit deeper, the statistics are very scary for their health. People living more healthier for longer. That's not been the case. So we've got a double issue now where people are facing serious health issues, and possibly not living longer, but they're living longer with a serious illness. So these are massive challenges. So I think I'll continue to maintain my polite pressure on the teams to make sure how can they unlock in a genuine manner. Just before I finish, how can they unlock our communities properly, professionally, and in a very, I think it's got to be in a manner which things what we've done in the past, I don't think we've been able to use them answers properly, and I don't think we've asked the right questions. So I think we've got to really work out how can we ask difficult questions, but we want to reach different conclusion now. So I think this is probably the greatest challenge. I really want to enforce that we've got to rely on the public in a different manner. We can't just expect what we've been doing for many, many years, because otherwise a lot of these issues may have been better resolved or clearly on a journey to be resolved in a more better way. And I think with time, I don't want to say too much, but once again, Sir Michael Marmot, very, very grateful for your support. You've had a massive impact on, our key officers, key public officials within our city, within our region. And it's not just council-led, it's other key partners, for example, police, NHS. Everybody's been affected by your mindset because it's allowed them to think differently and look at solutions now for these issues that we've mentioned repeatedly many, many times. So with time, I'll stop there, and I'm going to hand over to our brilliant Public Health Director. Alison, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. So as Councillor Khan's just laid out, it's really important that we take a resident perspective in our work so that we can achieve the best outcomes for all of our residents. And also that importance of the collaboration. And indeed, I'm joining you today from the University of Warwick, one of our collaborating partners. I'm actually over here. Hopefully the Wi-Fi will hold out, but I'm going to be in meetings here for the next 3 days. Now, we know from the work of Professor Sir Michael and his team that the best way to tackle inequalities, and particularly health inequalities, is via those wider determinants and those wider determinants of health. So addressing environments that our residents live in, improving their access to high quality education, helping residents into good jobs, achieving all of their potential, having meaningful lives. These areas of focus often require culture change, and we know that that requires a different approach to our work. We all know that, my favourite quote, culture eats policy for breakfast, but it is a really important point to labour that we need to consider how do you address the culture of organisations, of a city, in order to effect change. And I think that's why resident voice and all of the work that we do with our collaborating organisations is so important. Coventry is really proud to have been the first Marmot city, and the impact that it's had on our work, especially in public health, you can imagine has been considerable. We're also now getting invited to go and speak to other cities, hoping to get to Bologna, lovely city, went there a couple of years ago. But certainly I've just been up to Edinburgh to speak at Public Health Scotland organised conference to talk about our experience as a Marmot city. And don't forget, I wasn't around when we started this work. We're about 3-4 directors of public health into this work now. it's so important to us that we're making sure that we sort of pass that baton on, and new leadership is recruited partly on the basis that we want to continue that work. But we're not complacent, and as Professor Sir Michael has already pointed out, we've had setbacks along the way, certainly in terms of the pandemic, and now we know that we need to refocus some of our efforts on those wider determinants and tackling health inequalities. So here in the Council, we're actually refreshing our public health strategy, and we're calling our new strategy Marmot 2.0. I don't know whether that will be its final name, but that's what its running title is at the moment. And this is about how we look at what's worked, we look at what needs to be done, we prioritise and develop our strategy with that. Now, the Health Determinants Research Collaboration, the HDRC, is very much a part of this. And certainly we hope that that will be reflected in some of the invitations that we get to speak. We're really keen that we go and we tell people about the work that we're doing, particularly around research, particularly about how we're working with our other partners. So I know that we have partners that are on this webinar today, are going to be part of that Marmot 2.0 journey. I know that there have been discussions around this, and I hope that in future we'll be able to describe how we've moved forward as a Marmot City into the new era with the knowledge and evidence that's been developed via all of our collaborations, including very much our resident voice. So, as I said, I'm at the university. I'm afraid I can't stay for the panel discussion, but thank you very much to everybody for inviting me and allowing me to speak. I think it's really important that we continue to let people know about all of this important work that we're doing.
Thank you both. It doesn't happen often, but if my head should drop and I think things aren't going well, I think I just need to talk to Councillor Khan and I'll feel good all over again about what we're doing and why it's worth the effort. So thank you, Councillor. Thank you, Alison. And as I say, Coventry is extremely helpful to this whole movement. You kicked it off and the movement started with you. Really important. Next, we've got Christine Grant from Coventry University. You can read the title. And lived experience of disabled and neurodivergent workers is really important. We've said a lot about socioeconomic inequalities, but what about the inequalities affecting other groups? So please, Christine.
Thank you very much. And thank you for inviting me today. I'm really delighted to be here to talk about this piece of research. It's actually a quite small piece of research, but it's had a huge impact. And I was invited earlier this year to the House of Commons Select Committee on Employment and Disability, where I gave also a short presentation on this work. And so it kicked off actually just after COVID, and there was a lot of remote working going on during COVID, and it was a really good time actually to do this study, I personally felt, because I'd identified this gap when I was at a conference talking about remote working. I've actually researched remote working for around 20 years now, so I'm quite expert in that area. But actually someone asked me a question and said, what advice would you give to a member of staff who has autism and is remote working? And whilst I could give the usual general advice, I couldn't actually give specific advice on this topic. So I thought, right, okay, I'm going to go and see if I can get some funding. And that's exactly what I did and started this project. So as I say, I'm delighted to talk to you about it today. It's really important. These are our key stakeholders here that you can see. And these all took part in the research, both as employers, but also formed a key stakeholder group. And there you can see the key aims and considerations of this project. As I say, we felt that this population of workers would be or could be overlooked, and we wanted to just check that and to see what would support best their remote working needs and capabilities. And so we did that through this project that was ESRC funded, in actual fact, by the Digital Futures project at the University of Sussex. Thank you. So the first thing we always do in these situations, we have to look at the literature. It's an academic thing, so we go in there and we have a look what's around and about the subject. So we put in things like remote working disability, remote working neurodivergence, and all of those words you can see there. And this is a word cloud that came out of that, actually. And the most researched area in terms of remote working was physical disability. But there was very, very little around the neurodivergent side of things. And so that really also formed a real gap in the research. And whilst we were looking at the papers on this, and I mean reports as well as, academic literature, we found that actually remote working was an essential adjustment for this group of community of workers. And we found that they had unique challenges as well. So they're similar but slightly different. And they were really worth investigating those more, and that there were some really beneficial effects of remote working, but of course those needed to be managed alongside some of the downsides, which I'm sure many of us are familiar with now. And that actually we also found that those are amplified, actually. So the benefits are amplified, and also the disadvantages, if you like, are also amplified. So it was really interesting finding. So that was some of the literature there. And what we did a qualitative study because we wanted to get rich data. We wanted to look really in depth at the issues and ask lots of questions, which we did in a kind of semi-structured way. So we set out the questions beforehand and we asked for volunteers for the study, and we had loads. I was actually overrun by the amount of people who wanted to take part in this, but we could only manage a small number. As I say, it was a small funded project. But we managed to interview 24 disabled and or neurodivergent employees. And actually there was a lot of, overlap between physical disability, mental health issues, and also neurodivergence. So there was quite a mix actually within there. We also interviewed 5 employers. Some of them were key stakeholders, some of them were not. And also we interviewed all of the key stakeholders and other people too who were not on the project. So we spoke to some, professors in America and other countries as well as part of this project to just gather more data. Thank you. And so I'm hoping this video now works. So we did a short animation of the findings, and these are about the employees. So I'd like Harmony just to play that for you now. Thank you. Thank you, Harmony. So yes, we did find that remote working could actually level the playing field. And it is really hard. It was really hard before COVID, we found, to actually ask for remote working as an adjustment. And we found that line managers, there was a real gap there in understanding. But people did feel stigmatized asking. That's gone away slightly, as lots of us were remote working during the sort of COVID period, but I feel that it could well come back again now that there is a return to work advocated by many CEOs that we read about. So there are some practical implications here that we found through the research, and for some, using the digital ameliorations, reducing sound, switching cameras off, using chat functions, etc., really enable people to participate in meetings, in work itself. And it really is a sustainable aspect of remote working that it can provide that, and providing those open and honest conversations. Joining resource groups and particularly coaching and mentoring was found to be very helpful in our group of participants as well. So finally, I think we just have the employer practical considerations, and really it should be considered as a reasonable and an essential adjustment for many in this community to sustain and to gain employment, and that there is no one-size-all-fits solution, which came very much out of the animation. I hope you saw that, and that it is a need for line managers and organisations to listen and understand that remote working does provide an accessible means to work, and it is optional and it can be optimised for everyone. My next project is underway at the moment, and I'm developing a toolkit for line managers with remote workers who are disabled and or neurodivergent. So if you'd like to take part in that, do let me know. So I'll be producing a product related to that soon. But yes, coaching was found to be absolutely essential, and focusing on strengths, and particularly in the recruitment and onboarding processes. So that is a very short overview of quite a detailed project, but I hope you found that interesting, and thank you again for listening to me.
Thank you so much, and doing something that's so important and that could easily be forgotten. So don't go away. I hope we'll get a few moments for panel discussion, although we haven't got many. But law, when I first heard lawyers say, we've got a role to play, and I thought, how, where, what? But since then, I'm at UCL, Dame Hazel Jen, at Northern Ireland, the Law Centre. There are law centres that are playing a central role. And so we've got a Central England Law Centre represented, and understanding local legal needs. So Emma and Tara.
Hello. Hi, I'll take that as my cue. Is that right? Hi, my name is Tara Mulqueen. I'm an associate professor in the School of Law at Warwick University, and I'm joined by Emma Austin. Emma, would you like to say a quick hello?
Hi, everybody. I'm the Director of Strategic Social Justice and Policy at Central England Law Centre.
Lovely. And as someone coming from a local university, I would just quickly say, yes, do lean on us, please. I think if we're not contributing to addressing inequalities in Coventry, I don't really know what we're doing. So very, very pleased to be here and to have the opportunity to share our current research on local legal needs in Coventry with you. So I'll just say quickly to start, our study is a collaborative project between the University of Warwick, so myself and some colleagues of mine, with the Central England Law Centre and Law for Life, which is a national public legal education charity, and it's funded by the Nuffield Foundation. For those who might be unfamiliar with the concept of legal need, it generally refers to the fact that people, ourselves here and in our communities, will experience many law-related problems in their day-to-day lives, but may be unable to deal with them for a variety of reasons, not least because it's hard to deal with legal problems on your own, and they might struggle to to access advice and legal help that they need. So that generally describes kind of what legal need looks like. Marginalized communities in particular are disproportionately impacted by legal need, and will experience more problems with social welfare law, struggle more to deal with those problems, and kind of suffer quite significant impacts from those problems going unresolved. So things like benefits, housing, employment, those sorts of areas. And legal needs intersect with other forms of inequality and social need, such as those related to health. And those problems often have a legal dimension. So that's why it's so important to talk about legal need in conjunction with kind of social determinants of health. Our research aims to support the Central England Law Centre's Rights and Communities strategy. And before talking about how we set the study up, I'll just hand over to Emma to tell you a little bit about what that strategy is.
So we at the Law Centre for a long time have felt that access to justice wouldn't be achieved by traditional lawyering. And by traditional lawyering, I mean individualistic lawyering, where we deal with each issue on a case-by-case basis for each client in isolation. So what we thought is we need to rethink how we are responding to unmet legal needs, how we're responding to the social welfare problems that we're seeing in our communities. So we developed a strategy whereby we're doing kind of three things. We're working with people, with partners, and we're working on policy issues. And in our people work, obviously we still do individual case-by-case work, but we also look to work more closely with people, providing wraparound holistic support to try and help people pursue and enforce their rights, particularly those who might have more difficulty doing that on their own. We work with lots of partners who we see as being the gateway to accessing legal help to pursue rights. And also we see partners as being absolutely key in understanding patterns of problems, so systemic issues that might be occurring for those that they work with. And finally, our rights and community strategy is predicated on us doing more policy influencing work to use what we've learned through our close work with our clients, with our individual community members and with the organisations that we work with to try and seek change to national or local policies, laws that are disadvantaging our local community.
Thank you so much, Emma. So you can go back to the slide before, so I'll let you know when to change. Thank you. So in order to support this strategy and the sort of alternative way of working that the Law Centre wanted to pursue, we had to think a little bit about what kind of understanding of legal need will help to inform that strategy. And so most of the existing research on legal need tends to be quantitative. So there have been quite a few large national surveys, which are incredibly informative and give us a really clear sense of some of the broad patterns, but particularly when focusing on a local place with specific organizations and specific communities, it's really important to kind of get to grips with people's experiences and the lived experience of trying to deal with these issues and navigate the kind of sources of help that are available to them. And we also, we wanted to work closely with what in the literature on this type of work, it's called trusted intermediaries. So sort of non-legal organizations that are often kind of frontline community groups that are seeing a lot of the needs in the community and in a position to offer support, and are often doing this already. So they can be community organizations that could also be civil servants or health workers. Anyone who has a kind of supporting role in the community might be thought of as a sort of trusted intermediary from the perspective of legal services. And what we wanted to do was really see if the idea is to work with intermediaries and to kind of take these alternative approaches to providing legal help. We wanted to be able to see what those organizations are seeing, who's coming through the door, what kinds of problems are coming up. And then work with them to decide how best to address those. So in order to do this, we recruited 7 trusted intermediary organizations in Coventry. You can see who they are there on the slide. So those of you who are from Coventry might be familiar with some of them. They represent quite a diverse group, but they all work with people who are marginalized or disadvantaged in some way. Overall, what we did was we conducted interviews with staff and stakeholder groups from each organization to learn more about how they work, the issues they see, and what they're doing already to support people. We then asked them to choose 5 to 7 individuals who had accessed their service and who they knew had struggled to deal with law-related problems. Because what we wanted to know was, how are people struggling? We know that people are struggling a lot, and so we want to just see what that looks like in practice. And you can see for our participants, the groups that they work with are quite diverse and reflect the kind of circumstances and the services that are offered by each of those organizations. And then across those groups, there were kind of a range of characteristics. So most of them have some form of disability or long-term physical or mental health condition. Most of them were also entirely reliant on benefits for their income. There were a lot of lone female parents. But other than that, there was a lot of diversity in terms of age, race and ethnicity, migrant status, and life experience in general. And so this approach sort of allows us to see some shared experiences that are common across sort of different forms of marginalization, as well as some particularities. So recognizing that the experience of legal need will reflect other forms of disadvantage, and that comes across in the stories that people tell. It's also worth, before I tell you a little bit more about our findings, the time period for the study was from March 2020, sort of up to sort of the present as we're kind of continuing to finish and update it. And so we're looking at a period that's kind of from one crisis to the next, and that's had a strong bearing on people's experiences, predominantly in the sense that many of the challenges that emerged during the pandemic have kind of set the tone for things that have continued to happen since then, whether that's kind of emerging service challenges that have continued, digitization that's continued, and that's influenced people's experiences, as well as just kind of worsening the hardship that people in the community have been experiencing. So if you want to go to the next slide. So our research has produced a wide range of findings about legal need in Coventry amongst marginalized groups and that have relevance beyond Coventry. For today's purposes, I'm just going to talk about a few really key headlines and some more specific points related to health. What's important to remember is that while our study is small and focused on a particular place, the experiences we heard reflect much wider dynamics. One aspect of our findings relates to the number and type of problems that people experience. So we had 35 participants, if I didn't say that before, and amongst them, in a period of between 30 to 36 months, we counted more than 120 law-related problems taking place for them. So that's around 3 or 4 problems per individual. And it's important to understand that what we saw is fairly typical of what our intermediaries see. So these weren't the absolute worst cases, which for a variety of reasons, we didn't want to bother those people, but we wanted to see what was typical for the intermediary. So in terms of who's walking into the food bank or the social supermarket, or who's accessing help from a mental health charity, these are kind of common experiences amongst them. So it's not exceptional to see this many law-related problems, particularly amongst these groups. What we saw reflected some common patterns. For example, a loss of income, possibly due to losing a job from employment discrimination, would be closely followed by a problem with claiming benefits. The benefits problem could quickly lead to debt and rent arrears, and then this could quickly lead to the threat of eviction or homelessness. And this is quite a common pattern in various ways amongst our participants. Importantly, problems often included unidentified entitlements to disability-related benefits and social care, particularly given the high proportion of disabled participants that we had. Many aspects of their experiences were related to health in various ways. So in many cases, a series of problems might be triggered by a change in health, usually then connected to some form of loss of income. People were facing discrimination at work and the loss of employment due to health conditions as well. And we also found that for some participants, their health and the health of their families formed part of kind of accumulation of pressure over time that resulted in legal problems or the risk of legal problems, largely because they'd never had much support, for example, as carers, and then the pressure of kind of providing that care over time, affecting their own health in turn, and then affecting them at work, for example. People also struggled to deal with problems and face particular challenges related to their health conditions. And now, to be absolutely clear here, the challenge is not the health condition, it's the systems and processes that people have to navigate, which can be incredibly unaccommodating when it comes to disabilities, even when the purpose of those systems is to support disabled people. By now well-known example of this is the process of applying for personal independence payment. The participant on the right, the second quote, is describing her experience of a PIP assessment in which she struggled to communicate due to a severe mental health condition, and how that process made her feel attacked. She was denied PIP initially, and then eventually won in a tribunal. But it's arguably something that should have been decided in her favor in the first instance. But because of her mental health condition, she struggled in the assessment. The process of dealing with these problems also further exacerbated health conditions, worsening stress and anxiety, triggering PTSD. Protracted problems with disrepair in social housing had really negative health impacts. And more generally, people were often left destitute or in extreme hardship as a consequence of these problems going unresolved. One participant, for example, a diabetic, described not eating for 3 days due to a benefits problem. In the face of all of this, we looked in quite a lot of detail at how people had responded to problems. So whether they'd taken any action, maybe done something on their own, tried and failed to get advice, or sought and found help, whether from trusted intermediaries or legal and advice services in the city. What we found here that was particularly striking was how much difference the help of intermediaries could make in terms of supporting people to overcome barriers to deal with problems and to access advice and legal help, particularly when they were working in collaboration with legal and advice services. It points strongly to the wider social dimension of legal problems and that dealing with them requires more than just advice or legal knowledge, but a lot of practical and emotional support, as well as access to advice in order to overcome them. So whether that's the kind of practical side of figuring out what process to use or collecting evidence, or just kind of building up confidence over time to feel like it's worth it to take action, and that there might be some positive outcome from doing that. And intermediaries, while they faced a lot of challenges in providing that kind of support, were really essential in people taking action, both knowing that they had a problem that had a legal dimension and being able to kind of take it forward from there, often advocating on their behalf. So next slide, please. I'll just say,
can we
sorry?
round it off? We've run out of time.
I'm sorry, I'll just say this one last little bit and then hand over to Emma for one tiny comment. In general, our findings point to, and we're still kind of shaping these, but point to the idea of reframing early intervention to focus on intervening at the earliest opportunity, with an emphasis in particular on marginalized groups and the fact that they experience so many interrelated problems. This includes reducing some of the systemic drivers of legal needs, so in the benefit system, the kind of maladministration that we commonly see, developing a wider ecosystem of legal support within a city like Coventry, so seeing the value of intermediaries as part of that wider network, fostering collaborative local rights-based culture, so kind of embedding rights-based approaches within services, and then in general, kind of building up the legal capability of the wider community to be able to respond to these issues. And I will just quickly hand to Emma to say what the value of this has been to the Law Centre, and then we'll finish. Thank you. Sorry for going over.
Thank you. So it's helped to cement our view at the Law Centre that we do need to lawyer differently in order to reach the most marginalised, like those who were participants in the study, and that partnership is absolutely key to that. So our approach as the Law Centre is to partner with organisations to ensure that they understand legal frameworks and can support those that they work with to access their legal rights earlier. So we feel following this study that's really important, that we need to carry on doing that. Also that we need to commit time and resource to tackling systemic issues, underlying systemic issues, because there were so many repeat problems and clusters of problems thrown up in the study. It's helped us as an organisation better understand the dynamics of legal capability, both of individuals and of organisations within our community, so that we can do some thinking about how we respond to build legal capability and capacity in order to meet unmet legal needs, which often end up causing social welfare needs more broadly, some of which have that health inequality and health dimension to them. It's helped us move forward in thinking about what we should be working on and what we should be prioritising and how we should do that. And finally, for us as a Law Centre, research like this has been really valuable because it gives us, we're the biggest law centre in the country, so we have quite a good platform to be contributing locally and nationally to policy influencing work, to proposals, to reviews, to calls for evidence, to consultations. But what we found is that having qualitative, quantitative research and data really strengthens any submissions that we make. Evidence-based responses have a lot more traction, and so I'd like to, I suppose, really put a kind of a call out to anybody from other organisations who are interested in working with academics and researchers, that we found it to be an incredibly valuable experience, because they can really help you as a frontline organisation tackle the issues that you're working on, to work with vulnerable people with social welfare problems, and that value really can't be underestimated. For us, it's been really inspirational, and it's going to help us moving forward. Thank you. Sorry, we've run over.
Thank you so much. I really love the idea of teaching social science to citizens. Well, I suppose another way of putting it would be, I like the idea of social scientists being citizens, but the idea of teaching social science to citizens is really attractive. So, Sinead, are you going to tell us about that?
Yes, thank you very much, Sir Michael, and thank you for inviting me to speak about this today. If I could go on to the next slide, please. So citizen science, as many of us know, has existed for hundreds of years. One of the best examples, or best well-known examples, is the annual Christmas bird count. And so citizen science has been a way of citizens supporting researchers to gather mass data. If we could move on to the next slide. And coming from citizen science is citizen social science. So the way that we describe it is citizen social science is a social or community based piece of research. It's conducted by members of the public with the support of professional researchers. It's for the benefit of citizens, scientists, the community and society. And it involves conducting a small standalone research project about a local social challenge, but most importantly, it's about something that is of importance to the individual citizen social scientists. So one example of previous work is a mental health listening project, and I'll talk about that in a minute. We use the term citizen social science, but other terms for the same approach to research is community participatory action research, community research, or peer research. If I could have the next slide. Okay, so we've been teaching citizen social scientists for about 5 years now, and before I talk to you about our particular citizen social science programme for the HDRC, I thought I'd bring to life the experience of some of our citizen social scientists on a recent project with the West Midlands Combined Authority. So one of them has said that she's glad that people got their voices and opinions heard in terms of mental health, especially from their local community. It was great to share what we know as a community with those who will provide services in the future. And then another citizen scientist who worked on that project has said that it's very empowering to do the citizen social science course, an absolute joy to work on such an important study for the Combined Authority that they felt was relevant and immediate. Being able to ask the opinions of friends, family, work colleagues and community activists to provide this research has been a liberating, fascinating and eye-opening experience, especially with regard to the mental health experiences of people in my local area. So if we could go to the next slide. So this is a project that we use citizen social science for in North London with teenagers aged 14 to 19. And what we ask them to do as citizen social scientists is tell us the challenges that they experience and what troubling topics they need support with. Now, we took a different approach to this one. And first of all, we trained the teenagers as citizen social scientists, but then we asked them to use that knowledge and skills to train a chatbot. So this is Amaya. This is the chatbot that they co-designed with a software developer, and they chose what Amaya would look like, and then they spent weeks training Amaya to speak like them. And the idea was that by training Amaya, who they had designed, and by training Amaya to speak like them, to ask questions of with regards to troubling topics, then they might be more likely to open up. And behind this was the public health team and their own counsellors from their schools to provide the referral support behind it. So if we could go to the next slide. Okay, so I've given you an example of the citizen social science that we have conducted previously. I've given you some input from some of our citizen social scientists and why they felt that was so valuable that they did the research, but more importantly, that research had a mechanism to be fed directly into people providing policies and services of importance to them. So I just want to hold that there. what's been really important that we've learned over the 5 years of using this methodology is that ability to not just do the research, but for the citizen social scientists to have the option and to witness that research being fed directly into policy decision makers and people who design services. So with that knowledge now, for the Coventry HDRC, we have already started to co-create what a new citizen social science course might look for local residents of Coventry. And this is what we have, and we're starting next Tuesday, and we already have quite a few residents signed up, so we're delighted with that. And what those residents will learn over the initial 4 weeks is they'll gain knowledge and understanding of the social determinants of health. They'll look at the awareness and importance of the social determinants of health and the role they play in shaping people's long-term health. Access and barriers to services, facilities that promote positive health and well-being. Knowledge, opinions, views about some of or some specific social determinants of health, for example, housing, education, amenities, social determinants of health and perceptions, understanding of how they affect people in their own community, understandings of the drivers of health outcomes for individuals, society, cultural norms, etc. Social and environmental factors that restrict or encourage better health outcomes, and the wide range of ways that our environment shapes our health. And what we're hoping is that the individuals will choose one of those topics and align it with something that's personally relevant to their own lived experience or their own experience of friends, families or communities. So they will take one of those topics for their small research project. If I could have the next slide, please. Okay, and so having informed them of those topic areas, they'll then start their training proper. And what we will teach the residents to do is to understand the topics that we've just introduced. We'll teach them about research methods and the difference between quantitative and qualitative research methods. And then we'll provide them with more in-depth training, specifically how to design a survey, how to run a focus group, and how to undertake a semi-structured interview. And we'll also assure them that we will be with them all the way along, even if they just want me in the room to be the note taker or just to have a friendly face there. We will support them in whatever method they choose to do. We'll then talk about the ethical considerations that they need to explore when they're designing their research project. So we talk about things like, where are you going to meet someone for your interview? Never knock on a door or go to someone's house. So we'll take them through the ethical considerations of their research, so that helps them to design their research project. So having understood the topics, having been able to identify with one of the topics from their own lived experience, will support them to design their own small research project. They'll then go off, that's the end of their formal training, and we support them online or face-to-face with mentoring throughout the time that they're gathering their data. The citizen social scientists then come back and they present their research and their findings to us and the wider HDRC group. And if I could go to the next slide. And we finalise their training, we finalise their own research by engaging our citizen social scientists with wider stakeholders in the HDRC to undertake a design sprint. So using the citizen social scientists' own research and challenges that they've identified, we'll then take an opportunity as a kind of celebration event to also sit down with wider stakeholders to try and prototype what a solution might look like to some of the challenges that they have identified that is specific to them or their community in Coventry. Thank you. That's the end from me.
Thank you. I'm just looking at your last picture and thinking my research collaborators don't look like that, but there we go. But I understand it's a metaphor. Thank you. It's really exciting that you're engaging the community in that way. Absolutely terrific. Thank you. So we move on. And it relates, in a way, it builds on that participatory research. And we've got a pause parenting app that we're going to find out about. Nathan Hodson.
Brilliant. Hi, nice to see you, everyone. Well, I'm really excited to be able to talk to you about the work we've been doing. I'm a psychiatrist at the medical school at Warwick, and I've been working closely with a few different local authorities, including Coventry, to develop this pause app, which we're using to make it easier to support parenting skills. And what I'm going to be talking about briefly today is really about how we made an app that would address mental health inequalities, and then what communities thought about that, and then what lessons we learned about how to make an app that can help address mental health inequalities, as well as what sort of opportunities there are for our particular project to go forward. So thanks for sticking around all this way through these great presentations so far. So our aim of what we're doing is trying to make it easier to be a great parent in this context of local authorities like Coventry, which provide parenting programs, and those parenting programs have a really strong evidence base that they improve the mental health of the young people whose parents go. They increase their socioeconomic opportunity, more likely to get jobs and address these other health inequalities we've been hearing about today. And they even reduce criminal justice contact. So really powerful programs, but we've got a problem, because converting this group learning that parents are doing in their programs into a behavior change, which then affects every day of their parenting and affects their family life. That's really difficult, as you can imagine. And the current existing digital support for that is not really engaging. So we wanted to make a digital system to use behavioral insights that could help parents to utilize evidence-based skills from their programs and do them in their everyday life. Because we sort of had decided that every parent should be able to benefit from personalized digital support based on the power of big data, which is changing a lot of things in our lives. So that was our aim. Let me tell you a little bit about how we made it on the next slide. All right, okay, so we've done this development with local authorities, and here's a diagram of how we did it. Now, what this is showing is that we used this approach called Agile Scrum, which is what really is the leading approach in tech companies. And we tried to import that into a research context, which was quite an interesting challenge, because what they do is they work in these design sprints. We just heard about a design sprint, about these development and design sprints that go round and round, where they just have 1 or 2 or 3 weeks of coders making something, and then it goes to be reviewed by stakeholders, who then say, well, is this doing what we wanted to do? Is it not? And then sends it back, and then the coders have to go and make something else, and it has to be able to work at the end of that. And then they'll send it for review again. It'll get reviewed. They'll assess it, say, oh, we need this change, we need this bit adding. And so we're building on it in little increments. So what we were doing was working with 40 different parenting practitioners to develop something over time, presenting it back to the practitioners, and building an app which could support parents to use their evidence-based parenting skills in their day-to-day life, in between the support sessions they were getting. And we piloted this with pre and post interviews with 11 parents who used it for a couple of weeks and developed it that way. This is just sort of my way of showing you. We've got some published papers, and this is what the app ended up looking like. You can see some of the different activities, and we've been working with these local authorities, Buckinghamshire, Bradford and Leicestershire as well. And this is a page where parents can enter what local authority they're working with. But the real question is, what happened when all these local authorities were using the app in their groups? So could we have the next slide where I'm going to discuss that? Okay, so here's what we've done. We've been using Pause in 5 local authorities. It's been downloaded 900 times, and we've got 300 active users, which I think is a reasonable rate. We've done this intense research I'm going to present to you now through surveys with 25 parents, which we filtered down to interviews with 7 parents and 4 practitioners who'd been using it. So we've got some kind of quite detailed view on what they think about it. Now, they talked about how enhanced, all right, we're shooting through my animations. All right, so the first thing we found was that they said it enhanced their parenting. Now, here's a really good quote. I've always felt like I'm quite good at praise, but actually having that reminder there, because things can get quite negative quite quickly when you've got behaviours that are unwanted. Quite a good reminder. So they knew they wanted to use these evidence-based skills of really having a foundation of praise in their parenting, and we built on that. Next, after the program, they said, I really like it, and I'm still using it now, even though the course is finished. I had something that lasted even after their support finished. Anyone can use it. I think it was pretty easy to use. I struggle with technology in general, but I found it straightforward and enjoyed using it. Another great outcome from using this approach. And then they said they could take parenting help everywhere. Having the use of the Pause app, I've been able to take things like consequences and reward systems with me easily, rather than carrying a jar of buttons or a sticker jar. And it's enabled me to make to put other things in place to make life a bit more manageable. So that's what we wanted. The last point on this slide, though, is that there's more to do, because they gave us lots of suggestions. They want to say, well, what possible suggestions could there be for what is making my child feel this way? What's causing this behaviour? Can you intervene a little bit more in the week with suggestions about how I can be supporting my child's mental health and development? So lots more to do. And there's so I wanted to touch on these opportunities for future collaborations. The things we're doing now, we've got this app, I'm working with Homes for Ukraine teams as well as local authority teams. We're really excited about that because of lots of mums and their children coming to the UK feeling quite unsupported. We also got non-English languages that we're trying to build in, because there's been a real cut in support across a lot of local authorities for support for Polish-speaking parents. There's 1.1 million Polish-speaking people in the UK where it's their main language. We're not supporting them very well. A lot of health visitors and family nurse partnership teams have wanted something like this, but at the moment we're not really tailored for that 0 to 2 year old gap, so we're working on that, but that's actually quite far in progress now. Personalising it is really big, and collecting data for local authorities rather than like a tangential separate thing, because it's actually quite a really good way of collecting data is to have an app, which I'm going to come on to in my final slide. I think I've got 3 more things on this slide that I'd like to tell you about, though. Oh, here's our little character. All right, future challenges. So sustainability after co-production. We've made this app, and now we've realised how are we going to keep sustaining the offer of this. And we should have been planning for this for a little bit earlier. So I'd recommend that to other people. Can you think about cost structure or anything like that if you're going to try and ask people to contribute to fund something? I don't know, it's really difficult. Training and implementation is something that needs to be thought about quite early as well. We are working hard to minimise the time requirements as we implement Pause, and that's something that's taken a little bit of time because some people are a little bit wary about new technologies. And then finally, the opportunities for sharing learning between LAs seem really important. And I mean, this is, I guess, one reason why some of the stuff that we're doing today is really exciting. But we found that in the parenting sphere, there's not very strong connections between what different local authorities are doing. It's quite atomized, and we'd like to we think there's room for sharing more best practice. So on my final slide, here are some learnings and recommendations. Really for you, if you're doing a technology to improve health inequalities or anything else, first of all, I think this iterative approach really helped. We found that we got to a good outcome because we'd gone through we found lots of problems in what we were doing first. The next one is you need developers. You can't just outsource. I think we did well. I think a lot of our strengths were having developers in-house that we'd got through Warwick University, rather than at one point we tried to just design it and then send it off to get made and then say, all right, we've done our app. But actually, I think you need to continue changing it. And that's best when you've got developers in the team who tell you what's possible. My next slide is be prepared to change or pivot, they call it in tech. I mean, we started off with an app that was really very far going in kind of the wrong direction for supporting parents. But through this iterative process, we learned what we needed to do, and we were able to quite change direction significantly. Build partnerships and be ready to be surprised. Our early work with Homes for Ukraine has been really exciting. We've had really positive responses from people, but what we weren't setting out to do an app for Ukrainian people. We're really fortunate to have that opportunity. And then finally, I think that I'd really encourage you to think about digital interventions like this, really simple smartphone interventions, because it's really a historic opportunity. We're in the first time in history that everybody has unlimited access to whatever information we give them in their pocket all the time. We've got these parents with evidence-based information in their pocket all the time. They can put data in and get personalized outputs out of it. And this is just a fantastic time to be doing public mental health, I think. So I'm really excited about where we're at. And so I would also just like to say, please do reach out to our team, either at pause@warwick.ac.uk or my email's there, nathan.hodson.warwick.ac.uk, if you'd like to talk about developing any apps. We're doing a couple of other bits around the place, or about how we could work together on reaching some other parents with this support that we're providing. So thanks very much for everyone today, and thanks for listening, and looking forward to having a chat with you all.
Thank you very much. We do have a few minutes for Q&A for Sinead and Nathan. So please, if you've got questions, I noticed John Wilcox has got his hand up. Would you like to ask a question? Best if you unmute.
Hi. Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, thanks everybody. So yeah, John Wilcox from the HDRC here in Coventry. Yeah, I just wondered, Nathan, when you've worked with sort of families in Coventry and other places, how are you going about recruiting them?
We've been recruiting families through a couple of different means. One of them is lots of parents who've been through a parenting program afterwards stay available for contact and have been happy to talk to us after that to say, here was my experience and here's what could have been better. Another approach is that we've been recruiting some parents directly from the ongoing groups who've been happy to try something else that might reinforce their skills that they're learning. So we've been really trying to recruit directly from the communities that we're trying to support.
Thanks, Nathan.
Sinead, related to that question, maybe you said this, how do people get to your course?
So it helps that we had a community training facility in Coventry for the past 8 years. So we have our own database, if you like, of local people that have been through that training facility, which has a significant number. The City Council have been supporting us to promote it as well, and then through our own social media. But I think in large part it's because I had a community makerspace in Coventry City for 8 years, so we've been able to build trust with community organisations throughout the whole of Coventry. But even then, you might have 20 sign up and only 10 do attend, or you might have 2 sign up and 10 attend. So it can be difficult to manage because of people's commitments.
Thank you. Sue.
Hi, thank you so much, Sinead and Nathan, for those presentations. They're really inspiring. Great stuff. Anyone who knows me knows I'm pretty passionate about parenting and how we could transform our growing early years, etc. Population and transform our society through doing something better with early years and parenting, just supporting not just those who have to go through parenting programs, but actually much broader. It's got a little bit of stigma, hasn't it, needing a little bit of parenting support. So something that would be provided that wouldn't have that stigma, but would provide amazing parenting support, but also alerting systems for more support if they needed it. So I just thought I wanted to put a pin, I wanted you to think about that. You might already have thought about it, but just in terms of next stages. Yeah, so because I think there's a great potential, like you say, from using apps supported by people, of course, as well. So just a thought for the future. But you don't need to answer it. It was just I wanted to get in there and say it before I forgot. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. That's great.
Remembering back to when I was a parent of young children, all the help that was available would have been very welcome. You know, anybody who thinks they're an expert on parenting hasn't really tried it. So one needs all the help we can get. Any other comments or questions before we move on? Harmony, would you like to tell us what's going to happen in this interactive exercise?
Yes, I'm just going to share my screen, so hopefully you can all see that right now. Someone can give perfect. So this is Slido. So you can either join by using the QR code on the left-hand side, or there is the website and a code here. But we just thought it'd be nice just to get a bit of a feel of how you found the webinar and what sort of sprung out to you. So once majority have been able to access that, if you give us a thumbs up, and then maybe I'll pass back over to Michael for the questions. That's okay.
Okay. So, well, the questions were, after hearing the guest speakers, what elements of research excite you, and what surprised you the most about today's webinar? And how many are you going to help me?
Yes, absolutely. So what we should start to see now for this first question, people's answers coming through. So the more that somebody puts the same answer, the bigger it will appear on the screen. So it appears that the main area at the moment is the social citizen science, which is great. Again, a lot around co-production and working together, working with apps. Neurodiversity is definitely coming up too.
Well, look at citizen social science. We don't want anybody else to feel badly, but
parenting, housing, yeah, sharing knowledge, community inclusion, I think is really important. Brilliant. Just give it a moment and then we'll move on to the next question.
So before we move on to the next question, and watching this appear, from the start of our work in Coventry and all the other Marmot communities around the place, one thing that comes through time and time again, absolutely fundamental, is engaging people. And it's easy to give lip service to that, talk about lived experience, very easy. But what does it actually mean to engage people, to learn from people's experience? And the idea that you can engage people in becoming, as it were, citizen experts. So what you get is, all right, it's filtered information, but it's coming from the community in an informed way. Seems like a wonderful combination of listening to the voices of the community and taking a more rigorous analytical approach. And I guess, Nathan, that's what you were talking about as well, in a way, with the development of the Pause app. The other thing you see strongly there is how much the presentation on neurodiversity engaged people's interest and attention. And the brief comment I made in introducing it, that we should recognize that people with neurodiversity, sexual orientation, disabilities tend to be the forgotten groups. When we think about all these things, we so often forget these other groups who are suffering because of the action of social determinants of health. And without acting on the forces of exclusion, we can't really create equity. So very grateful for what we've heard there. All right, that seems to be fairly stable. Shall we move on to the next question? What surprised you the most about today's webinar? Well, Sue, the first thing coming through from this is the variety of projects that people hadn't heard about, the range of research, so many projects. I hadn't heard about them. Really interesting.
Yeah, so I think, Michael, there's probably a whole lot more, and you know the work of the impact teams in both the universities of Warwick and Coventry. One of the things that they're trying to do is get the research known about and make it more impactful. So I think that it's dissemination is a big part of doing research, but it's always so difficult to get it seen and heard and into practice. So I mean that's partly, I have to say, what the HDRC is about, and we have an impact and implementation pillar as one of 5 of our pillars of work within our HDRC work. So there's so much research to share, and this is an example of us trying to share some of the work that's happening already, but of course there's so much more. And somebody I think mentioned there wasn't much about a built environment. I mean, the built environment is phenomenal in terms of its impact on health and the potential planners and the like in local authorities, etc., and architects. And we're exploring the city of some of the work that's visioning what the city might look like in the future, for example, with architects and planners. So that's before you ever get to any research. That's just being involved and contributing to. So I think there's no doubt about it that there's a whole lot more bigger range of research that's going on than anything of what we've talked about today. But I think it was fantastic to hear those different pieces of research presented, because it does give that kind of sense of the range of research that is, if not completely connected, it is in part collected. So the reason why I say that is we don't start with mental health, for example. We start with something that has an impact on mental health in the HDRC. So we always start with the wider determinant, and we know that we're going to impact physical or mental health. And I know that mental health has been talked about quite a bit in this webinar. So there are so many areas for research in the wider determinants that we couldn't possibly, of course, have covered them all. But there's lots going on and more to come. So the HDRC does have a website, which is very easily accessed through just saying Coventry HDRC. So you can see some of the work that we're kind of beginning to explore there. But that's just us. And there's so much work the University of Warwick and Coventry University, and of course yourselves, UCL. And it's a case of searching as well as being given that information, I think.
Thank you. Forgive my mentioning this, but I notice what surprised you most about today's webinar. At least one person said Michael. I won't explore that. I won't explore that further.
That's funny. Why not? No, great.
Let me comment, which is, as you know, Sue, and I raised this when we had the first meeting of our advisory committee for the HDRC, that somehow my model had been there would be some grand research program that would answer the question, does Coventry as a Marmot city make a difference? And what can we learn, and what could then be spread to other places? And I still think that's a very important question. What you've illustrated today, though, is that there's a whole range of projects going on that the HDRC helps stimulate by bringing them together. They become greater than the sum of the parts.
Exactly.
It's really important. And I think it relates to a more general issue that we've been saying from the beginning of these kind of activity of Marmot places. We really want to know if they make a difference. But this is not a vaccine trial. The if you want to know if a vaccine works, do a randomized control trial and see if it protects. That's the best way to find out if a vaccine works. Real life isn't like that for something like creating a healthier city with narrower health inequalities. You can't do a vaccine trial. You can't control the intervention. You can't get a proper control group. It's not like that. But it's very important to be asking important questions about what works and what can be done. And I think people like today's seminar because of the range of research and the fact that they were surprised. They were excited and surprised, particularly community social science, which was somehow combining the listening to the community with taking a more scientific approach. So congratulations to the HDRC for stimulating the variety of research, showing us some of it. I mean, what we hope over the next while is that these places, particularly Coventry, which was the first, will show the way in the UK and elsewhere for what can be done at the place level to improve the quality of people's lives and hence their health. My own view is there can be no more important question than that. When I've been asked about different aspects of the new government's policy, my response is always of the form, well, I'm concerned with health and health inequalities. I would always push policies that are likely to improve health and reduce health inequalities. It may not necessarily be what the government is proposing, but then I'm not the government and I'm not the Minister of Finance. I'm not the Chancellor of the Exchequer, which is lucky for the people of Britain that I'm not. So I don't have to make decisions that span across government. I just happen to think the best outcome of government policy is improved health and narrower health inequalities. And what has been illustrated today is different ways of approaching that. It can't be more important than that. So that's my little thought for the day. Sue, would you like to round it off?
Yeah, thank you so much, Sir Michael. I was just thinking back to the beginning and you setting the context and the reduced funding and the clear impact on health that has made in our country. We've heard from Alison Dougal, our Director of Public Health, and Councillor Cameron Khan. And from their presentations, you can kind of sense that Coventry is pretty passionate about this, and I know you are too, Michael, in terms of the wider determinants and the impact on health, physical and mental. I just think the speakers have been fantastic, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for those who have given their time and energy to present those pieces of work to us, because it's not, it takes time and it does take energy, and it's been great that so many people have been here at this webinar to hear them. So big thank you to you, Sir Michael, and to all the people who have worked so hard to present to us, and of course all those people in the background. And we'll always give an applause to Harmony for kind of pulling together and doing all the actual work around the operation of something like this in a webinar. Yeah, it feels like we've done a great job. So we have a great team in the HDRC, and I wish I'd had a picture of them all to put on a slide, and I meant to do that, but really good team. So thank you to all of the team as well. And I'm sure we'll be connecting across to some of those speakers and more on into the future. If you do have any questions about the morning, it's a shame we didn't have that time to do the Q&A. Either post it in the chat or contact one of us and we'd be happy to link you in or answer the questions if we can. So yeah, excellent. Thank you so much again.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone. On time. Bye, everyone.